So this guy calls me on the phone, and when the phone call comes, the phone number comes up. It says bad seller, and when that says bad seller, that means it's just somebody I bought from before, and I had a bad experience. And sometimes these people, they keep calling back and trying to sell you stuff, and I don't always know who they are. So I label it as bad seller, so I know not to deal with them, right? But I haven't had a bad seller come up in a while, so I answered the phone. And I kind of recognize the guy's voice, and he says, I got a bunch of tools I want to sell you. You used to buy stuff from me. And I'm like, okay. And send me your address, send me pictures of the stuff. Right? So he sends me his address, and comes up, picture of this house comes up, and I know this house. I've been to this house. It's like part of a row home in Philly. There's lots of row homes in Philly. They look kind of similar. So I'm like, I think I know that house. And if I know that house properly, then this is the house where I went to this guy and bought from him like 3 times, and it was really good deals. And it was a mix. It was usually collectible toys and tools, and the prices were good, and everything went well. And then the 4th time I come back to buy from him, his wife is there, angry as can be, just as mad as possible. Tells me that I've been ripping off her husband, and that I haven't been paying enough for the stuff, and that I better pay up. And she's there to make sure that I pay up. And negotiations, went with her instead of him, and he's standing there like a dope. And, when it was with him, it was like, how much for all of it? $300. But done, It was easy. The negotiations were simple, fast. I was out of there. Her, I want this much for this. I want this much for this. I want this much for this. And I went ahead and, bought. And when I got all this stuff home and I sold it all, I pretty much broke even. I didn't make any money. And of course, like, she made me feel bad, even though I don't think I should feel bad, but because I didn't do anything wrong with the guy in the first place. But I guess she guilted me into it. I'm kind of a sucker for women. I can negotiate with a guy, no problem, but like when I negotiate with a woman, I don't know. I'm just trying to be polite, I guess. I don't know what it is. So he calls me again a couple months later, and I got stuff to sell. And I'm like, is your wife going to be there? And he's like, oh, no. And he's like, and I'm like, good, because I don't want to go buy anything from you if your wife is there. And he's like, well, what's wrong with my wife? And I said, she charged too much. I don't want to be there. If she's going to be there, I don't want to be there. And so we get there. So I get there. A buddy of mine's with me. And so I get there. And there she is, and like, I'm still in the car, and he walks up to the car, and I said, you told me your wife wasn't going to be here. And it's like, he gets angry. He's like, that's my wife. She's with me everywhere. And I'm like, okay, see you later. Bye. And I just left. And so this house looks like that house. So I called the guy back. Did I buy from you before several times, and then, like, your wife, gave me a hard time, and then I stopped buying from you? He's like, no, that's not me. And I don't know. I didn't know whether to believe him or not. So I says, okay, so you send me pictures. I don't even know what this stuff is, but look, it's $1,600 new, $600 new, and you can see the toolbox. It's still sealed, original box, blah, blah, blah. Make offer, maybe even a wild package deal, take it all. This is me. Jeff just trying to narrow down if we're anywhere close on price. Let's just make a deal. That's what he says. You got to give me a price on that blue thing, and without some kind of idea, I'm not going to empty my van, find out it's not going to work out. Okay, do you want it all? I'll just throw a price out there. And so he sends more pictures. How much? Do you want to take it? I says, how much for the pictures? Do you want to take everything? He says. I says, yes. let's say $1,200 negotiable. And I'm throwing all them extra. We're way off, thanks anyway. That's me. Some stuff is new. Where are you at price-wise? And that's what he's saying. So I send him. I did all this research beforehand. So I sent him pictures to show what this stuff is selling for. And as you can see, this thing, wait, this blue thing, that's $300 used. All right. And the toolbox, $68, $158. You know, the DeWalt thing is $150. You know, so we're talking. It's not even $500 used. This is what the stuff is worth on eBay. I wouldn't pay half of that. That's what I said. You're better off taking it all to the flea market than trying to sell it to me. And he says, give me a reasonable offer. So I says, $200. If everything works, that offer is for everything in the pictures. For everything, triple question mark. So he's angry now. Yes, me. No way, he says. I told you it would be better off selling it at the flea market. I'll sell the toolbox on Marketplace for $200, he says. And I say, okay. And this is, you know, it's typical of a lot of people that try to sell me. It was $1,200. And his stuff sells for $500 on eBay. Maybe $600 tops. And I'm not paying more than half. I'd like to pay less than half in this economy. And, like, you know, logic doesn't sink in with these people. What it sold for on eBay doesn't matter to these people. I can't tell you how many times I've negotiated with people, and they actually listen to what I say, take it into account, and change their price. It almost never, ever happens. A lot of times they'll change their price because they don't have any choice, and then they're angry about it. But people almost never, ever listen to the reason. And I'm like, I don't want to go to this thing for the reasons I already said. I don't believe that this guy is not the guy who, you know, I think I'm going to show up there and his wife's going to start screaming at me, you know? So, you know, and again, this text takes, you know, 4 or 5 hours to text back each other, and I'm all frustrated and angry. And, you know, whenever I get this kind of stuff going on, I always dream about, like, setting up a time to meet the guy, like, at like a Wawa or something, and just not showing up, you know? and like texting him back and forth and saying, oh, I'm 10 minutes away. Oh, I'm, you know, there's construction on the road. I'll be right there. Just wait another 20 minutes. And I would just love the idea of sitting on my couch, you know, eating Twinkies for 2 hours while this guy waits for me until he finally gets frustrated and go home. And then, of course, I would text him for the next week and say, you know, oh, like, when can we when can we meet again? What's a good time to get together? I still want that stuff, you know. But I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm afraid of God. I cannot do that kind of thing because I'm a Christian, so I don't believe that I would go to hell for it. But I would definitely not be doing, like, the best in heaven. I would probably, you know, they would probably make me the janitor in heaven for doing something like that. And like I saw this documentary where they showed these people that work in the sewers, and they put this guy in a like a scuba suit and sent him down into like a tube that's like 2 feet wide to clean out the place. And like there's rats, and you know, it just, I think if I did something like that, that would be my job in heaven. I'd be the guy working in the sewers. So, but then again, it's heaven. So I mean, the crap probably smells like roses, and the rats are probably like the ones in Sleeping Beauty or Snow White, where they, you know, they're cute and friendly. They wear little hats and they talk. So, but I'd rather have a better job in heaven than the sewer guy. But these people, they frustrate me to no end. Some of the times it's great, but when I get guys like this, I just, but I deserve what I got because it said bad seller and I picked up the phone anyway. So this is Delco Resale. I buy toys, comics, and video games. I live in the Delaware Valley area near the Commodore Barry Bridge. If you got anything you want to sell, just give me a call or contact me at the information below. Thanks for watching. Bye.